Okay, so this video is going to about is about uploading your Laravel application into the cloud. So first of all, log into your Cloudways account with the credentials that Dr. Troy has sent you, and then you can go to the application, see your application, and then you're gonna see something the access details. So notice you already have a Laravel app running, and then you have the MySQL access as well as application credentials, but you need to create one. So I'm just gonna create Costa and then call it .reset, and then I add the credentials. Okay, and now notice very importantly, I already enable it because I already try to do this video once, but the initial configuration on the SSH access is not enabled, so you need to manually enable that, and that's very important. Okay, once you have that, you want to connect to your server. You can either use PuTTY or Git Bash. Both works very well. PuTTY is specific to Windows, and then the Git Bash is is almost identical to the terminal in Mac. Okay, so for example, I can just I copy the public IP, and now I can just connect it by using costa.reset. Okay, and then the same thing is gonna work if I do SSH costa at that thing. Okay, so I'm just showing that they both can achieve the same purpose. And then you are going to initialize a Laravel application. So the way to do that is to open a command window, or yeah, I should do this. Yeah, I need to go to F and then cd that. And basically, I look at Dr. Troy's instructions. Yeah, so after I thought this would be easier for the Mac user to just develop with Laravel directly without worrying about the configuration, then I basically realized that is not true. You still have to have a local running Laravel for efficient development. So you still have to do all these to figure your PHP correctly. But then basically we're going to be starting from here. I already have the Laravel installed, so I can just do Laravel new backend. So that's gonna create an application that's gonna download a lot of things. Feel free to fast forward this part if you want. Yeah, there's nothing I can do. I guess I'll just wait for a little bit. Then download the files from Dr. Troy's email, and then I have already downloaded and unzipped it. So this is a bunch of files you will have. Another thing to notice is that I'm not gonna do front end here. I'm just gonna do back end because yeah, I just tried to make the API work, and then you can focus on the front end however you like. Okay. Jeez. Okay, now the application is ready. We can open our Visual Studio Code, and then to just move this Cloudways folder in, then we can see our backend. Okay, so the first thing to do is to just run the application. So I would say cd backend, and then just do php artisan serve. So that's just a little bit of a hello world. Oh, okay, so no application encryption key has been specified. We're just gonna do php artisan key generate, and then we're gonna serve it again. So this time it'll be fine. Okay. So now we're going to migrate the database. So we follow the instructions, find the files, create entries tables, and then let's see. Let's see. And put it to backend database migration folder, and then I'm just gonna put it over there. CD backend. Also, you do not need to do that because the Laravel and MySQL in the Cloudways are the latest version, so they don't have the compatibility issues. And this is where things start to go wrong. If you have not debugged for a long time, this is where things start to fall when you run the PHP artisan migrate. So first of all, you need to add the end file. Let me just show you why. So if I just copy the public IP and then database name and then database username and then password, you thought it's gonna work, but it's not. If I do PHP artisan migrate, basically it's gonna say you couldn't make a connection to the Cloudways. This is because Cloudways ban direct MySQL connection for security reason. So you have to use a clever thing called MySQL. You have to use a thing called SSH tunneling. So after a lot of debugging, I found a way to do it. You can use it with terminal and with Mac, or you can use PuTTY. I'm not going to go over the PuTTY thing. If you want to just follow the instructions. So basically what we're going to do is to exit out of this and then create another bash window and then just do SSH. Yeah, let me see. Yeah, basically I want to do this without the P port. The -P922 is gonna specify a SSH port, but since we're using default, it's not gonna be an issue for me. However, we're gonna change this to localhost, and then you can fill in your credentials, Costa at this public IP. Okay. And what's that gonna do is to map the 3306 port in the Cloudways. It's gonna map that port into your local port so that you can do PHP artisan migrate and MySQL connection. So I'm just gonna type in my SQL password. Notice everything is sort of, you know, almost the same if you don't pay attention. And I'm gonna change this to just the localhost. But right now, if I do it again, hopefully it's gonna work. Unspecified keys. Well, that is interesting. Let's see. I hope I'm recording. That's interesting. I guess I haven't copied the entry controller. Is that why? Entry to backend app. And then entries controllers to backend app HTTP controllers web.php to routes. Okay, let's try again. Let's see, so the user already existed. Yeah, I'm just gonna go in and basically delete things. Just gonna drop those tables and start over. Really? What was in there? Really? Okay. Really? What is the MySQL version? Oh my god. Okay. Apparently you have to run MySQL 5.77 or higher, then you don't have that error. But since the Cloudways has MySQL 5.5, yeah, there's no way to do it. So we have to fix this error by go to the app service, copy the app service provider, and then let's see, yeah, to backend app providers, and then replace the files. And then now I can run PHP artisan migrate. Yeah, it's already there, so I have to delete them. And now this should work. Okay, migration created successfully. And now I think I can just enter in this and then just a new item. User ID 1, title, and then I just save. Okay, and now I should be able to run PHP artisan serve. Okay, so let's just try entries. Yeah, so the API works locally. Okay, now we need to deploy it to the cloud server. So you have two ways to do it. One way would be extremely painful, which is, you know, you use your FireZilla, if I even have it. Okay, I don't even have it. So I'm just gonna demonstrate the easier approach, at least in long run. So basically you're going to create a new repository. Yeah, I'm just gonna say Laravel test. Notice, do not check this. And then you just create a repository, copy this, and then basically initialize this as a repository. So a classical way to do it is to use a git bash and then git init, and that's going to create a repository. And then you use this to open the repository that you just created. So yeah, it's gonna be right here, and then we're going to initialize the repository and commit all the files, and then just saying init. And then since we created a repository, empty repository, we can just add the remote. Just call it origin. Hello? Okay, let's try again. Okay, it pushed successfully. Apparently, I need a SSH keys to do that somehow. But it works. So we have the Laravel test running here, and then we can just copy this thing right here. First of all, yeah, let me sign out of this. And then use my account to log in. And then I'm gonna select deployment via Git. And then I have to generate SSH keys. Okay? And basically I'm going to copy this and then go to my GitHub repository or whatever Git hosting you're using, and then go to the SSH keys and then add it to here. So this is going to be Cloudways tests. And after adding that SSH keys, and then I can go to my repository, copy. Notice you have to select use SSH. The normal HTTPS wouldn't work. So you have to copy that and then put it in here. And then guess you have to wait it. Yeah, you have to click refresh and then select master, and then you just say start deployment, and it's gonna say deployment in process. So we just wait for a little bit. Yeah, this is sort of a classical bug with older version. Okay, and it's gonna say a repository has been cloned. And right now we should be able to go to, this thing wouldn't work, however the API would hopefully work. Let's see what's happening here. Oh, yeah. Another thing to notice is in your Git repository, the env file, the environmental file is not copied with it. So for example, this is my my putty, and then if I say, I should open this one. And then if I say nano.env, it's gonna give me this with incorrect credential. So we have to fix that. So what you have to do is to change the database name to the given one. And then also copy the password. That's not what I want. Okay, anyway. And then basically just save it. And then this should work. Okay, so if you follow the steps, I would congratulate you on creating your first entries, and you know, if I add more stuff to it, new item, and then this will correspondingly update. Okay, yeah, so hopefully that was cool and helpful. So that's how you usually deploy your Laravel application. Also, this goes hand in hand with the development process. So you know, if I make a change, for example, let's see what the routes look like. Okay, so let's say if I add some comments, I would save it and then commit the change. Well, you probably can't see the change. Yeah. So I'm just gonna add a route and then say, what's the typical syntax? Let's see. Yeah, I'm just gonna create this so that if I can visit the homepage and it's gonna show me. Okay, and I'm gonna make a commit and just say add homepage. I'm gonna make a commit and then I push. And then after successful push, I'm going to go to the Cloudways and then select deployment via Git and then just say pull. Okay, so that's gonna pull the changes from the repository. Also notice that's gonna go to 2 and I added a homepage. And it's gonna say deployment in process, and we just have to wait for a little bit, and then it's gonna take effect. I hope this is still recording. Okay, and then it's gonna say repository has been updated, and yeah. Now if I go to here, it should give us Laravel. And the entries will still work. And I can select them by ID. Yeah, so that sort of thing. Okay, so hopefully that was helpful.